All right. Looks like we just go for this guy. Typhoon spec is good. Elite spec is not bad. It's actually, if it weren't for the Fire Badger, the Typhoon spec would actually be really playable. Definitely an above average pack. Okay, so doesn't look like we go Fire Badger round one. Um, we'll do the 2 squares up, 2 squares in. Do we go for Fangs? Does Fangs ever make sense? I don't think so. It's just crawlers, right? It's safe choice. I actually start really starting to like Fangs more and more. But I guess with the dogs we could just go crawlers, but I feel like I'm now theory crafting the Fangs will be act as chaff for the Phoenix after the Phantom Rays die. Because everything here will probably go on fire. Um, Whereas the late Fangs will come up here. And then you would have your line of backline Phoenixes here. Missile spec, okay. Guess we just ignore the positioning, and yeah, I like ignoring the positioning. We get too caught up sometimes in doing some weird position, and it kind of hurts more than just eating the missile strikes. Like, we don't care about a missile strike here. Mass-produced Phoenix is crazy. Do we go for that right now? Probably have to get the card. And yeah, probably have to go for it, I think. So we'll get the card. We'll go for a couple of them. And start building the Phantom Ray line after. He's also mass-produced Phoenix, so same thing there. Sure, now he can hit our Phoenixes, but they're only worth 100, which is amazing for us. Even with the mass-produced, they're still two-shotting a Phantom Ray, so they're just as effective, pretty much. They're also two-shotting a sledge, regardless of their missile, regardless if they're mass-produced. Now, obviously, our problem now becomes the chaff clear problem. We lose our hounds, which is not good. Since we lose the chaff war, we lose everything. It's because of the missile, of course. So we get the fire badger. Now maybe we can start. I think we just skip here. There's no point in going for this underground threat. So now we can maybe start dealing with his his chaff here. I think we could just. I think we want to go Phantom Rays because we need Phantom Rays in every single build. Probably can be back a little bit. Problem is they might get splashed, so we'll have to move them. I don't know. Should it be like this? Are they too far back? Do we go range ever? Do we just go for the oil here? Or do we go for a permanent range and just put this guy in the middle here? I don't mind this. All right, so he's committing more into late chaff. This makes it more likely that we're going to want to play oil. Obviously, we're not going to continue to build mass-produced Phoenix. It makes it too easy to counter with the Ford AA. or even stuff like Wasp. So 3 is good enough for an initial gambit. Just like probably 3 Phantom Rays, 1 in the middle is probably enough for the oil. You don't need to build too many of them. To be fair, it is a pretty decent missile, and we didn't really think the positioning out. We could have put the hounds a little bit further out. I think that would have been good. Interestingly, got 2 fire badgers on our missile side. Those look like the 200 range is actually doing a lot, but how do we deal with the late fangs here? Fire badgers are the MVP so far. I think we got to go for some oil here. Mustangs are interesting. How much is this? 300, so 500 profit. This is 500. That's 500. Storms is 6. I think we need like a typhoon or Mustangs more than we need. I'm tempted to go for the typhoon, but it's 500 just because it doesn't burn. So we'll go for the typhoon in case he wants to go for like a fort, some kind of wasp play. That the typhoon's gonna help us there. Go 1 typhoon here, 1 typhoon here, kind of. And I think we just go for oil here, and probably just 1 more down the middle. I mean, he could distract us. I wouldn't mind going for 2 more. Just clicking in oil. All right, and what else here? Do we just go for charge shot? It's boats right away. Okay. Makes the Phantom Ray play a little bit worse, but we do have more guaranteed oil in the middle. Problem is the oil here is not guaranteed. Maybe the 1 Fire Badger is enough. Every single player we play against is going boats. It's the most scariest reaction, but we're getting a lot better at dealing with it now. The Typhoon arguably is not the most amazing thing into boats. That being said, it's probably safer than the Mustang. Mustang's better than the Typhoon, but the Mustangs we can lose fire. The Typhoons don't really die to the fire, right? We can we get our own. Okay, this is interesting. So actually, we almost need a source of fire here. I think the charge shot Phoenixes are doing a lot as well. All right, Ion Blast is interesting, but I don't think we need it right now. We'll just skip. Might be close to the end of the game, so we're not going to go. That aerial spick is interesting. I think in general, just more Phoenixes, maybe with range now. Okay. So here comes the Desperation Storm. That being said, if his overlords level up and, you know, it's not going to be amazing for us to just completely lose everything. If he gets a couple more overlords, levels them up, you know, it's going to be a slight problem, but I'm confident by skipping and not going desperate. That being said, I don't know if it's how well it's going to turn out for us. He does have Wasp production, but we do have this. And we're assuming he might click the Wasp production. I'm not sure. He looked like he clicked range. And then he thought maybe don't click range. But once he sees this, he has to click Wasp production, you'd imagine. This is also pretty good for him. But he's almost spending too much. And there's going to be another crawler here. He's almost spending too much. Things that are just... I guess this matters more than 1 round, but He's gonna win this round pretty hard, anyways. So we actually don't burn this. So I'm not sure how, if that's good or bad for us. If we can kill another boat, be pretty happy, but doesn't look like... Looks like that's gonna be it. Maybe this is what he needs to come back here. The marksman is tempting, but you know he's gonna go aerial spec. You know he's gonna go wasp. I'd rather just sell. And maybe elite recruit these guys. Now, we may not be around for another round, so I think we just have to assume he's gonna go for this. Probably missile here, missile here. Now we start borrowing. And I think we get another... Get another fire badger maybe around here. Definitely go range and... Speed, I'm not sure. Speed, does speed really help us here? Do we go for another missile instead here? I don't want to actually spend 2 missiles. Maybe speed does something, but I don't know. Maybe it does. Let's try it. No wasp production, interestingly, but tell you what, the typhoons are still going to do something. He actually goes for marksman, okay. The phantom raids are purely sacrificial. I would not even consider them to be a unit in our composition. The one crawler might be a huge issue though. Yep. It was nice that he offset the crawler by a little bit. Fortunately, the typhoons are kind of getting shot at. But, see? The typhoons did something there for sure. Problem is, you know, the Mustangs would have been better because they would have, like, kind of tanked more. However, the Mustangs would have died in the fire. So, we'll skip here. We'll assume he's going to do his missile thing. Keep borrowing. Now we need to think about what to do here. I think our composition is kind of complete. I wouldn't mind late fangs, but kind of just want to go for this. Missiles again. And what do we sell? Sell out of something? Do we sell out of the crawler? Or is that too risky? Maybe. Let's get another Phoenix. Okay. No wasp production. Instead we get tanks. Okay, so the tanks is unheard of. Guess it's because of the... Well, they have, do they counter the typhoons? Slightly, not really, because they're level 2. It will counter with Fire Badger, but Fire Badger isn't really for anything except for lighting the fire. Surprised he doesn't put down another crawler here. Another crawler here would be pretty bad for us. Good missiles. I would expect to have C2 missiles here. Okay. Means that we probably should have sold out of this. Interestingly, now the oil just lands directly into where we need it to land. And it also ignites. We're slightly worried about these little crawlers, but we should be fine. Problem is, now all this late chaff is kind of causing problems. Looks like he's won here. Looks like this late chaff is what what we lost to here. That's interesting. I almost don't feel. I almost feel like I was cheated on that last game. I mean, it really feel like we played it perfectly. Except I just don't understand that there's this late shaft problem, and not quite sure how we were supposed to deal with it. But I mean, we had oil, and it never occurred to us to maybe just put down an oil. Like, how good would it be just to oil like these guys? We can go like this just to ensure we get maybe more like this. Okay. Now maybe the typhoon here was unnecessary. I think it was. I think we could go for a fire badger maybe. Level this guy up. We could still sell out of our chaff, no problem. Let's just see how this goes. Okay, so kind of surprised that the problem is are we able to, okay, we fired another oil here. The late chaff are coming in. These guys got range now. We do have one lock on, but now we're locked onto the wrong unit. But we were able to clean up here, even though we're still stuck on chaff because of the debuff, I think. Does that do enough for us to win the game? 1200? Pretty close. 12, okay, so we just barely win by that. Yeah, this is completely on our fault because we love the oil, but we just didn't make the oil. So let's think about this. So is there a way we could solve this late chaff problem? Is it actually Mustangs here? Because initially we didn't go for the Mustangs, right? It looks like we should have. Because the Mustangs, not only they act as chaff, they act as all right, so we'll do a little cheating. We'll sell out of something that we're going to get missiled with. And we'll missile this. This. Go for range. So it looks like actually Mustangs are going to be better than the Typhoons because the Typhoons don't have the same range. 150, it's 35 difference. The Typhoons can specifically be there for the wasp production, but we need also something more that can also handle like the fangs. But it doesn't look like it's gonna be the Mustangs here. So if it's not the Mustangs, what is it that can kill late fangs? I mean, we're not gonna try to go for a factory. Is it just mass fire badgers? Seems like not the greatest idea because the fire badgers are kind of gonna be getting killed by the maybe these guys come in 2 squares later. And we'll upgrade a couple of these guys, I guess. Do we ever go like scorching fire? Just so the fire badgers can actually clear stuff. We don't have the money for that, so okay, we do. But we don't have any missiles. All right, let's just try this. It's not going to be ideal, but so this It's gonna semi-counter the fire badgers. Now the fire is really bad for us. I mean, the oil. Polar chaff is instantly gone. And we only have medium units now. Typhoons are dying real quick. Doesn't look like that did anything there. What about actually napalm? So it feels like the problem is the fangs walk too forward and they die to I mean, if there was fire there they would just burn, but because there's no fire they're actually, you know, getting into range. See here, like they're kind of just walking into the fire. It doesn't look like it's enough. Like he does have too much. He also has like the ground chaff. That's also a problem. So we did better on our original playthrough. Okay. I mean, would it ever be like aerial spec Mustangs instead? I don't think so, but just go directly to the problem. Maybe it is because maybe we don't even need to worry about the fangs if everything he has is dead. So this is pretty much the best fire we could have asked for. And I think with the aerial spec, like it makes the Mustangs become more of a chaff unit. That being said, we're not winning the right side. Huh. So is oil really necessary here? What if we just did something crazy and went to like just went with like the war crimes? I don't know what we need to sell out of. Maybe this. So this kind of invalidates a lot of the fire badgers and stuff, but maybe it kind of maybe it's what we need to do for the fire. And getting slow down is pretty good actually. It is a huge buff for us. I mean, never in a million years would I think, okay, we need to get fire badgers. I mean, Vulcans with more fire because we have enough fire here. But this is only if we don't have the oil, right? Obviously, we should have went for the oil. Okay, so it looked promising there, but I think our DPS just wasn't there. Yeah, this is confusing. Like, I think our DPS was the problem, maybe. Maybe this kind of maybe we didn't want the cheap phoenixes. Okay, what else can we do? Or is that it? Maybe we just go Fire Badger with the napalm. Okay, so it looks like it's just oil. Would a factory ever work here? I mean, let's say the oil's on cooldown because we normally would have the oil on cooldown. So we don't have that much money, so we sell this. Maybe the aerial spec was a mistake. We still missile this, we missile this. And I don't know about putting it all the way forward, but maybe like 2 squares back. Another missile here down the middle. Or actually maybe speed, so our back line can catch up. It kind of almost looks like it can work here. Just because we have we have like a perfect amount of boats on this, meaning that it's doesn't die immediately. Okay, so factory also works here. That's super interesting, and this obviously did way better than the Okay, this is even better than the oil. Um, it's very interesting, very interesting. I don't know if this, I don't know, maybe this goes back more squares, goes forward more squares. That's something also up for debate. So whether or not speed was good, maybe speed wasn't good. Maybe this, the problem is if you put it up 2 squares and everything locks onto it, it dies too quick. That's also not good. So there's definitely some experimentation here. I think maybe we could just try it. Usually we put everything on the line. Trust uh that's the most trustworthy kind of way we've been playing this. And this way, if we go for speed, it's kind of like the the war factory is still kind of forward, so the things they don't like there's still a good chance everything locks on. But we ideally, I mean, having all 4 things lock on is maybe not horrible. So we have 3 now locked on, which is maybe not horrible. Okay. Now let's see. Yeah, we still win here. All right, it's quite similar, maybe a little bit less optimal. All right, so that's 2 ways to win the last round here. Either the oil or the factory. It's surprising that the Mustangs didn't work. All right, we got actually one more way I think we can win this. So if we do this and go for range here. I think we have just enough to take care of his sledges. I think this is situational. If he's going sledges, this works. Because look, it perfectly one-shots the sledges. If he's not going sledges, I think this could be our throw. Therefore, I don't think this is something that we would ever do. Maybe if he already had the sledges, we would consider it. Kind of looks like we're able to clear out his sledge line. So if we ever encounter more sledges, maybe we need to build the raid in here. We do win, but as you can see, the damage is not that great. We don't win the game from it, and I think not quite sure what would happen next round. But it is, yeah, it is something to consider if you're going up against massive lots of sledges here in front of the tanks.